This is a game that grabs you and refuses to let go. I find myself completely immersed in the stories that I craft for both my tanks as well as my crews. Every time I stumble into an ambush, or every time I fight an enemy that outclasses me, the tank slowly starts to feel like a steel coffin. This is a should you buy on Armored Commander 2, a roguelike strategy war game with over 50 campaign missions and 200 units that you will either destroy, command, or pilot. And if you enjoy military strategy, tactics, and doctrine and like seeing it applied to strategy games, I guarantee this is the channel for you. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you purchased Armor Commander 2 and strongly consider hitting that join button because it truly helps out the channel. This video will be structured as such. We will review the campaigns, do a brief gameplay snippet, explain some of the mechanics that truly make Armor Commander unique, and one of the better strategy games that I have played. It currently sits on Steam as a mostly positive, and it currently costs $11.99 USD. We're going to go down to the new campaign. As you see at the top, there's a yellow bar. There's early war, mid war, and late war. The campaign days vary. As you see over here on this right-hand side, combat days 45. They can go all the way up to 90 or higher. And if you hit the A and the D key, you can adjust those combat days. So maybe you just want a brief vacation over on the Western Front under Patton's command, or you want to serve that full 92-day campaign and hopefully ensure that your tank's crew survives that campaign. The difficulty level varies from 1 to 10. I've seen 10s and I've seen 2s, but I have not seen a 1. Overall, in my opinion, the 7 difficulty is quite easy and can put up a fair amount of challenge for new players if they don't understand the mechanics. One of the things that makes this game unique is you can apply some tanking or at least some armored strategy to your command, and it makes the game a bit more immersive. If we hit that escape key, we can fall back. There is a tutorial as well as options. There is not many accessibility features, if any at all. There is also a banging soundtrack that plays while you're at this menu, but it is currently muted. Under campaign records, this is one of the more unique features. You can see all the crew people that have died during your campaigns or under your command. As you see, Jens Graf died during the Operation Barbarossa to Moscow, KIA, on the first day. Next, we're going to go take a look and do a brief little gameplay snippet. Actually, we're going to take a look at the unit gallery. Under the unit gallery, we can take a look at the 200 vehicles that you will be commanding, destroying, or piloting. We're not going to look at all of them, but they range from the Empire of Japan to the US, all the way down to the German and Soviet vehicles. If we go to new campaign, we're going to go to the late war, and we're going to go to Iwo Jima. Down here on the bottom, we're going to hit enter, and this is where the game begins to get a bit immersive. Join the Marine units assaulting the heavily fortified island of Iwo Jima in order to secure a staging area for the future invasion of the home islands of Japan. Here, this is how players would adjust their difficulty. If you wanted it a bit more immersive, a bit more challenging, you could turn armored cars on or off. If you don't want to drive those, you can also turn realistic injuries on and off. That's a bit more fun, especially for those people who really like to create an immersive story. And by the way, if you're this far in the video, make sure you head on over to that community tab because we have a full role play and after action report going on. We're currently 4 days into our 42-day campaign where we're guiding the German forces into the heart of Soviet Russia. Now back to the should you buy. Here you'll be presented with several options to pick vehicles. As you see over on this right hand side, every vehicle can be crewed by a different amount of people: commanders, gunners, loaders, drivers. Overall, the systems are very basic, super intuitive, and nothing is overly complicated. As you see on every screen, you're presented with options on how to navigate that screen. Then we're presented with this screen right here. This is also adds a bit more to the immersion. It gives us our campaign days. And like I said, this is one of the more unique. The UI is honestly so perfect for this type of game, in my opinion, because everything is right in front of you as the player. If you hover over details, it presents it to you in a readable fashion. And everything is very just straightforward and simplistic. The game has so much depth, but a lot of people overlook it, mainly because of the graphics, and that is just a major mistake in my honest opinion. This week we land on Iwo Jima. Continuing our drive towards the Japanese home islands, resistance is expected and the fierce terrain favors the defenders. Enemies and friendly forces are flooding into this area for a major battle. Capture the territory and destroy the enemy units with the help of allied forces. Then here you're presented with options. We have air support at 100%, artillery support at 100%, and unit support at 30%. These will degrade over time, so we need to use them strategically. Then if we hit the tab, the enter key to start the day, we'll begin picking our ammunition. And as you see on this right-hand side, it tells us exactly what kind of ammunition we get, or what that ammunition does, and it presents it in a very readable format. So if we wanted a bunch of high explosives, armor piercing for our day, then we can add some shrapnel as well. We can do some smokes, and then a bunch of white phosphorus if that's something we desired, and then the rest would be armor piercing and high explosives. Then we would hit R to go to our ready rack. We would put 3 high explosives and 3 armor piercings in. Then we hit tab to continue. A very intuitive screen, not overly complicated at all. Then the sun rises at 6:31 and we'll begin, and we'll be set at 1756, and we'll set at 1756. It takes you 15 minutes to prepare your vehicle and travel to the front lines. Here we're present here at this screen. As you see, if we hover over thing on the right hand side, it tells you rolling hills, impassable, but not impassable, but you can travel slower. It tells you about each area, the zone, how to identify it. Over here on this right hand side, if we wanted to navigate forward, as you see, we're right here, this little swirl, and if we wanted to go forward to this first objective, we can just use these keys right here and begin navigating that. Next, we can also hit tab to proceed. We can also do advancing fire, request fire support, request arty support, and request unit support. If we hit the tab key, we'll move into that position. We enter an enemy held zone, and we hit tab to continue. Overall, it's a heavily fortified position. As you see over here on this right-hand side, this is where the immersion also begins to set in. If we hit that E key, we can actually begin renaming certain members of the crew. We have Arthur Haas. We can review all the skills that he has. He's a trained gunner, trained driver. We can add new skill. He's an experienced commander, and he has all of these skills that we need. And then overall, it tells us all the injuries that he currently has, if he has any, and then we can cycle each of the crew members and change it. Next, we can also go between different fire orders, so we can have him man the cannon himself, or he can just direct the fire. Our gunner can either operate the gun, and then our loader can load, our driver can spot, and our assistant driver can operate the MG. As you see, we have a bunch of unidentified targets at this current location, so we need to hit the tab key. This is also something that stands out about Armored Command right here. All the keys are listed for you as you play this game. It's extremely simplistic, and if you hover over each of these areas, it kind of tells you what's going on in them. So we hit tab. We can also advance forward. We could rotate our cannon if that's something we wanted to do to isolate these 2 targets over here that are currently unidentified. We could hit the F key to fire if that's something we desire to do. Or we can hit space to just man it. We begin spotting mortar teams. Mortars are extremely deadly if they land on top of us. We've also spotted another mortar team. And here we have an AA gun that could do a bit of damage, cause some spalling, and then another mortar team. We begin engaging with our tank fire. Our platoons are also engaging with our MG. We have several tanks with us. And we're currently resolving those things. We're trying to destroy them. And we were spotted by the enemy mortar team. They're obviously going to fire on us. And it says like the dust completely settles and it fully just immerses you. It tells you everything that's going on. We're going to move forward 1. We have our driver. We're going to put him into drive. We're going to hit space to end this phase. We're going to move forward 1. That's going to get us a bit closer, and we're going to continue to isolate these 2 units. He's on upper ground. We have line of sight, mortar team currently deployed, and we have fire at will turned on 120 meters to 400, almost 1,000 meters out. Over here on this right-hand side, we also have radio comms. Hit space to end that turn. We begin engaging. Machine guns fire. And overall, you just want to survive each of these engagements. And a combat day for turn length can vary between like 20 minutes all the way to like a full 30 minutes. So right here at this very top, You will see your combat day as it progresses. It's currently 7:33 in the morning. We need to survive all the way till 5 o'clock. So our combat day is just getting started. Now, Armored Commander 2 does, it's just not graphically impressive, right? A lot of people don't really enjoy these graphics, and they are truly missing out on this game if this isn't something you're interested in. It's a roguelike survival game, and it really embodies a lot of military strategy and overall just a fun time. It has every campaign you can craft your own unique story because you're always given new crew members if they like die in combat, if they get injured, they go to med stations, they can come back, you can transfer them out if you desire to keep them, if you want them. If you've bonded with those crew members and you're like, okay, you've come back, you've taken a shrapnel to your bunch of your leg, you're back from the med bay, we're going to send this member back on their way. They were a good replacement, but we really want our original crew back. And you can create fun stories that really immerse yourself. Now, those are for people like me. Obviously, there is a lot of challenge in this game. You can like master really a lot of the RNG. You can work on just understanding the mechanics, really just trying to perform your best and just doing a full 92-day run, never taking fire, utilizing all the mechanics, the artillery, the fire support, and not so much worry about that story that you can craft. And there's really a lot of depth and a lot of detail to this game. It's really one of the hidden gems, and I'm going to meme on that word this week in all my videos, so let me know down in the comments if you catch that little comment, because a lot of our videos are going to have the word gem in it for fun, because I need some fun. And overall, it's just a lot of fun. It's one of those games that really caught me off guard. It was someone introduced me to it, and it just really grew on me. It almost grew on me like instantly, and I just cannot put it down. I currently dumped like five hours in it the very first day I've played it, but then Blood Bowl 3 dropped, so I instantly started playing that too. But I just came right back to this. I have so much fun with it constantly. But as far as a should you buy, I really think this is a good game for anyone, whether you're new to the strategy game genre or you're an experienced player. You're going to find something to love here. Like, I know that's really common to say, but it's really going to stand out. Even some of how off-putting the graphics are, the mechanics, the RNG, the ability to suppress, the ability to drive so many different vehicles from all over the war and just fight on different fronts, even though they just look like, ooh, we almost got penetrated right there. Even though it's just like basic graphics, you just craft these really immersive and really powerful stories, and you really have a good time. I think if you're truly going to enjoy it, or if you're just looking for a cheap war game, this is one you should pick up because there's so much depth to it, in my opinion. You can just act as a commander the whole time and just order your crew around, or you can man the gun and just operate it and just designate targets for them. It's just something that's truly, truly a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you. I mean, they're all kinds of mechanics that you can do. You can engage with different shrapnel rounds. There's different ammunition types. There's MGs. You can get an armored car. Oh my God, you can just lose your tank on turn one, like the very first day, and the German High Command is just going to give you an armored car over and over and over again because they want you to die. So, I mean, that story, I mean, it basically took over a Discord for a few days of where we're just giving our after action reports, our fun stories about people, and just providing a good campaign overview. And I think if you have a friends group or even just a solo player, you can just share your story with me down in the comments below on why you really enjoy Armored Commander 2 or why you wouldn't buy it. Because at the end of the day, this is a really fun game, and I think a lot of people are overlooking it, in my opinion. So that's just a brief little should you buy. There's so many mechanics in it. You can unbutton, you can like engage units, you can give them SMGs like your little tank commanders or your gunner, so you can have someone on the gun, you have someone on the heavy machine gun, then you can open the hatch and have someone engage hostiles just with a submachine gun. There's so much fun and like quirky little depth to it. I wish like you could do a lot more with it. But it's only $11, and for that $11 you instantly get your play time because it's going to get its hooks in you, and it's going to be so hard to break free. So if you enjoyed this video, as always, make sure you subscribe, hit that join button if you really enjoyed it, and then head on over to the community tab because I have a role play going through, like a role play playthrough, and I'm posting after action reports. I'm telling fun stories about our crew and if we survive. We're currently on day 4 of the 42-day campaign, and I think that's something you're really going to enjoy. Wow, we like misrolled a 50-50 right there. And we got that one. and you're just going to have a good time, man. So check it out. Let me know if you do down in the comments. Peace, guys.